Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to change your life, if you want to transform your future, there is one skill, just one, that can unlock every door you've ever dreamed of opening. It's not talent, it's not even intelligence. It's self-discipline. Because talent without discipline becomes wasted potential. Intelligence without discipline turns into endless procrastination. But self-discipline, that's the force that turns vision into victory. And here's the truth most people never hear. Discipline is not something you feel, it's something you decide. Stop waiting until you feel like it. Champions don't wait for motivation, they move with intention. You don't build a legacy by doing what's convenient. You build it by doing what's necessary, especially when it's uncomfortable. The first technique is simple. Decide that your destiny is more important than your feelings, because every time you skip the workout, procrastinate on your goals, or delay that business plan, you're voting for your comfort over your calling. Self-discipline says, I'm not negotiating with laziness today. Every decision you make is either feeding your future or fueling your failure. Second, master your mornings. The way you start your day determines the pace of your progress. Get up on purpose. Don't wake up into chaos, wake up into clarity. You don't need a 3-hour monk routine. You need 30 focused minutes to command your morning and declare your direction. Wake up earlier, move your body, read something powerful, and write down your goals. That's not just a routine, that's a ritual for dominating. Third, build systems, not willpower traps. Discipline isn't about gritting your teeth until you break. It's about designing your environment to support your success. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. Set alarms, schedule your time, prepare your meals, lay out your clothes. Make the path of discipline the path of least resistance. Make excellence automatic. Fourth, embrace the art of delayed gratification. You have to learn how to say not now so you can eventually say, I did that. Every temporary pleasure that derails your progress is stealing from your future. The most successful people are not the ones who avoid temptation, they're the ones who have trained themselves to postpone it. They can walk past comfort because they see the reward waiting at the finish line. Fifth, track your habits. Discipline without measurement is like driving blindfolded. You need to know what you're doing, how often you're doing it, and whether it's working. You don't need fancy tools. A notebook and honesty will change your life. Write down your daily habits. Measure your progress weekly. If you want to master something, you must monitor it. Your habits are your scoreboard. Check the score. 6, remove distractions. Simplify your life. Cut out the noise, the drama, and the digital junk food. Discipline doesn't grow in chaos, it grows in clarity. You don't need more time, you need fewer distractions. You need fewer people draining your energy and more time invested in your purpose. The more you subtract, the more you multiply. Get rid of the unnecessary so you can build the extraordinary. And 7th, surround yourself with people who challenge your complacency. You're not just disciplining yourself for your own sake, you're creating a standard that will ripple through your family, your business, your legacy. Get around people who won't let you stay average. Get around people who inspire action, not excuses. Accountability accelerates discipline. Excellence is contagious. Catch it. So here's the bottom line. Discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you're destined to be. Don't let emotions drive the car. Let vision take the wheel. You don't need another motivational video. You need a decision. A decision to be consistent, a decision to stay committed, a decision to show up when it's hard. Because when your discipline gets stronger than your distractions, your future becomes unstoppable. You were never created to be average. You were created to dominate. Discipline is the price, destiny is the reward. Now, pay the price. Discipline is not something you wait to feel, it's something you choose to become. This is where most people get it wrong. They think discipline is about waking up excited, energized, and eager every single day. But discipline doesn't live in emotion, it lives in execution. You're not always going to feel like doing what needs to be done. Your feelings will lie to you. Your comfort will seduce you. Your mind will offer you 100 justifications for staying the same. But if you build your life around what you feel, you'll keep repeating the same patterns that have kept you stuck. Discipline is a decision you make in advance. It's a preset agreement with your future. It's you saying, no matter how I feel in the moment, I will honor the commitment I made when I was clear. It's the ability to do what's required even when motivation is nowhere to be found. That's when the real transformation happens. Anybody can work when it's easy. Anybody can stay focused when it's fun. But the people who build legacies, they show up when it's boring. They execute when it's inconvenient. They act with precision when everyone else is making excuses. You don't wait for discipline. You generate it. You decide and then you act. You don't ask, do I feel like doing this today? You say, I do this because this is who I am. The gym doesn't happen because you feel like it. It happens because you're the kind of person who trains regardless. The business plan doesn't get written because you're inspired. It gets written because you've made it your mission. Discipline isn't a feeling. It's your internal declaration of war against the life you refuse to live anymore. So stop looking for permission. Stop waiting for the perfect mood. Success doesn't respond to emotions. It responds to decisions. And once you decide, truly decide, the rest is just execution. Discipline starts where your feelings stop. And if you can get to that place where your actions are bigger than your emotions, you won't just make progress, you'll become unstoppable. The way you begin your day is the way you build your destiny. Most people stumble into their mornings like they're surviving something instead of creating something. They wake up late, they check their phone, they scroll through nonsense, and they start their day reacting instead of commanding. That's not discipline. That's chaos on repeat. But when you master your mornings, you take control of your mind, you take back your time. You set the tone instead of letting the world set it for you. Your morning is not just a time of day, it's a launch pad. It's where focus is forged. It's where direction is declared. The first 30 to 60 minutes after you wake up are some of the most powerful moments you will ever own. And how you use them determines whether you lead your day or your day leads you. Winners don't wake up into distraction, they wake up into intention. They have rituals that sharpen them, routines that stabilize them, habits that anchor them in clarity, purpose, and momentum. Doesn't have to be complex. You don't need 3 hours or some guru checklist. You need structure. You need simplicity. You need a routine that activates your spirit and aligns your focus. Maybe it's prayer, maybe it's meditation, maybe it's reading, maybe it's movement. But it needs to remind you of your goals, your identity, and your responsibility. Because once your mind is clear, your choices become sharper. Once your mind is focused, distractions lose their power. Most people treat the morning like it doesn't matter. That's why they live in survival mode. But people who rise with purpose unlock something different. They tap into mental momentum. They walk into the day already ahead. They don't waste their energy fighting fires. They've already lit the flame that burns through doubt, delay, and distraction. If you want to win consistently, it starts the moment you open your eyes. Don't let the morning be accidental, let it be intentional. Because when you master your mornings, you train your mind to rise above chaos. You tell your body who's in charge. You teach your day that you're not here to exist, you're here to execute. And that small window of time owned consistently will separate you from the crowd and put you in control of your calling. Willpower is a limited resource. It fades, it tires, it depletes. And if your success depends on how strong your willpower is every day, you've already built failure into your system. That's why real discipline doesn't rely on willpower, it relies on structure. Systems are what successful people build so they don't have to make the same hard decisions over and over again. They remove the friction, they automate the right actions, they eliminate the need to feel like it because the process is already in place. If every day you're waking up trying to decide whether to go to the gym, eat right, work on your goals, or stay disciplined, you're wasting energy on decisions that should already be made. Champions don't leave their progress up to chance. They don't hope to be productive. They design their environment to pull greatness out of them. They create systems that force action, not ones that depend on emotional high. A system is a set of habits, routines, and tools that make success automatic. It's meal prepping so you're not tempted by junk. It's scheduling your workouts in your calendar like business meetings. It's removing distractions from your workspace so focus is the default, not the exception. It's laying out your clothes the night before so there's no excuse in the morning. When you build systems, discipline becomes less about force and more about flow. And here's the key. Systems save energy. Instead of wrestling with yourself every day, you simply follow the plan you already put in place. This frees your mind to focus on execution, not justification. Systems don't make you soft, they make you sharp. They make sure that even on your worst day, you're still moving forward. Because progress built on systems is stable, it's scalable, and it doesn't collapse the moment motivation disappears. Stop trying to win with raw willpower alone. That's a losing strategy. Start building systems that serve your vision. That's how you create consistency without burnout. That's how you build a disciplined life without feeling like you're constantly fighting yourself, because once the right systems are in place, success stops being something you chase and starts being something you repeat. The ability to delay gratification is one of the clearest indicators of future success. It's not glamorous, it doesn't feel good in the moment, but it's what separates the people who wish from the people who win. Champions understand this. The pleasure of now is never worth the power of next. They know that every time they say no to temporary comfort, they're saying yes to permanent growth. Most people lose the battle not because they don't have talent, but because they can't wait. They want the reward without the resistance. They want the results without the routine. They choose the cookie over the discipline, the snooze button over the workout, the impulse buy over the investment. But greatness doesn't grow in convenience, it grows in constraint. It's built in the moments when you want to give in, but you hold the line. Delaying gratification doesn't mean you're depriving yourself. It means you're developing yourself. It means you've trained your mind to focus on what matters more than what's immediate. It's the ability to pause, to zoom out, to ask yourself, does this shortcut has a price? And the price of instant pleasure is often long-term regret. Discipline in this area is a mindset. It's the mindset that says, I'd rather be respected later than be comfortable now. It's the belief that a season of sacrifice produces a lifetime of strength. It's not about saying no forever, it's about saying not yet until the reward is worthy. The student who studies instead of partying. The entrepreneur who reinvests instead of splurging. The athlete who trains when everyone else is relaxing. These are the people who master themselves, and in doing so, master their destiny. The truth is, your future is always watching your present. Every decision you make is either a deposit or a debt. Champions delay gratification because they've already seen the version of themselves they're building. They know that the grind is temporary, but the glory is forever. And they understand this universal principle. If you can suffer for a few years like most won't, you can live the rest of your life like most can't. So hold the line. Delay the gratification. Postpone the easy road, because while others are indulging, you're investing. And when the results show up, when the life you've envisioned becomes reality, you won't regret what you missed. You'll be grateful you waited. You cannot improve what you do not track. That's the simple truth most people ignore. They think discipline is just about grinding harder, but discipline without direction becomes disaster. If you want to grow, if you want to transform your life with purpose and precision, you need to track your habits, because mastery begins with measurement. People think they're disciplined because they're busy, but activity is not achievement. Just because you're doing a lot doesn't mean you're doing what matters. Tracking your habits forces you to face the facts. It strips away the illusions. It reveals whether your actions are actually aligned with your goals or if you've just been running in circles. And most importantly, it creates clarity. Because what gets measured gets managed. And what gets managed, it gets mastered. When you track your habits, you take control of your patterns. You see exactly where your time, energy, and focus are going. Are you working on your business every day or just thinking about it? Are you reading like you say you are, or are you just scrolling and calling it research? Writing it down exposes the truth, but that truth is power. Because now you know what needs to change. It doesn't have to be complicated. Use a notebook, a simple checklist, a calendar with check marks. Don't focus on perfection. Focus on consistency. When you track your habits daily, you build a streak. And a streak builds momentum. Momentum builds belief, and belief builds identity. You start to see yourself differently. You no longer say, I'm trying to be disciplined. You say, this is who I am now. And here's what most people miss. Tracking is not just about accountability, it's about momentum. Seeing your progress fuels your progress. Those small wins, those tiny check marks, they begin to stack. You see yourself showing up even on the hard days. You start to feel the power of consistency. That's when discipline becomes less of a struggle and more of a rhythm. Less of a fight and more of a flow. If you want to master your body, track your workouts. If you want to master your finances, track your spending. If you want to master your mind, track your thoughts. Whatever you want to dominate, you must first document. Because discipline is not just about doing the work. It's about knowing what work to do and how often you're actually doing it. And the only way to truly know is to measure. So stop guessing, stop assuming, start tracking. Your goals don't care about your feelings, they care about your habits. And your habits reveal your standard. Raise your standard by measuring your movement. That's how discipline becomes data. That's how progress becomes predictable. That's how you turn potential into power. Track your habits. That's how you measure your mastery. Discipline doesn't thrive in a crowded life, it thrives in a clear one. Most people aren't failing because they lack ability. They're failing because they're overloaded, their minds are cluttered, their schedules are jammed, their priorities are buried under distractions, drama, and digital noise. You can't build a focused, disciplined life if you're drowning in chaos. If everything matters, nothing matters. That's why if you want to amplify your results, you have to simplify your world. Cutting the clutter isn't just about cleaning your desk, it's about clearing your direction. Every distraction you eliminate creates space for focus. Every unnecessary commitment you cancel gives you back your power. When your environment is clean, your mind gets sharper. When your calendar has breathing room, your thinking becomes strategic. You stop reacting and you start creating. Look at your life like a battlefield. Every decision, every relationship, every habit is either a weapon or a weakness. If it's not helping you win, it's holding you back. The clutter isn't just physical, it's mental, emotional, and digital. All those open tabs on your browser, that's mental leakage. All those notifications you check every 5 minutes, that's a tax on your focus. All those people you tolerate who drain your energy, that's emotional clutter killing your drive. Simplifying doesn't mean doing less, it means doing more of what actually matters. It's about narrowing your focus to what moves the needle. Successful people don't try to do everything. They find the few things that matter most and obsess over those. They say no more than they say yes because they understand that every yes is a trade. When you say yes to the wrong things, you're saying no to your purpose. Discipline becomes easier when your life is lean. You don't need more motivation, you need fewer distractions. You don't need a better planner, you need to eliminate what doesn't belong on the plan. You don't need to add more, most of the time you need to subtract. Simplicity creates space for strength, clarity creates the conditions for consistency, and when your life gets lighter, your results get louder. So clean up your environment, Declutter your commitments, streamline your habits, create margin in your mind.